जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna and thank you for joining. Today we are discussing verse number 45 of chapter number 1 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And before starting our discussion today, I would like to let you know that today is the most auspicious day of the appearance of Lord Shri Krishna. This appearance of Lord Shri Krishna is known as Shri Krishna Janmashtami. So wish you all a very happy Janmashtami. In chapter number 4 of Bhagavad Gita, verse 7 and 8, Krishna explains the reason of his appearance, why he comes to this world. So he is saying in the verse 7 that Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthana dharmasya tadatmanam srijami aham. So here the word Srijami is appearing. He manifests himself. So when does he manifest himself? So Krishna says that whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practices, O descendant of Bharata. So over here he is addressing this to Arjuna. He is saying that, O descendant of Bharata, a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So he comes whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practices and irreligious process is at the rise, or it becomes predominant. At that time Krishna descends. And then he, in the next verse 4.8, he says that Paritranaya sadhuna vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samstarpanarthaya sambhavani yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principle of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So this is the reason. In order to re-establish the principle of religion, in order to annihilate the miscreants, and in order to deliver the pious. These are the reasons for which Krishna appears in this material world, millennium after millennium. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter number 3, and verse number 28. So in this chapter, Canto 1, chapter 3, Srila Vyasdev, he describes more than 20 incarnations. So the question was asked, what are the incarnation and what are the purposes of the incarnation? So he is answering that question in this chapter, and he is describing more than 20 incarnations. And at the end, this is towards the end of the chapter, he is saying that Ete chamsa kala pumsa krishnastu bhagavan sayam. So he is saying that whatever incarnations I have discussed earlier, so all the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. So Lord Shri Krishna, when he appeared 5000 years back in Sri Vrindavan Dham, when he descended in his original Swarupa from the Goloka Vrindavan Dham. So he appears in this material world from Goloka Vrindavan Dham once in a day of Brahma. So that happened 5000 years back. So all of them appear on the planet whenever there is a disturbance created by atheist. The Lord incarnates to protect the theist. So this is the reason for the appearance of Lord. And in chapter number 4, verse number 9, Krishna actually reveals, he says that my birth and my appearance, these are divyam. So he is saying janma karma cha me divyam. So my birth and my actions, so they are divyam. Divyam means transcendental. They are beyond this world. Evam yo veti tattvataha. So one who knows this, my appearance and my karma or my actions, somebody who understands that in tattvataha, in truth, then what happens? Taktva deham punarjanmaneti mameti. So Arjuna. So Krishna is saying that one who understands like that, one who critically studies Bhagavad Gita and understands the intricacies or the secrets why Krishna is appearing in this world and performing actions. So somebody who understands that, then what happens to them? That after this, at the end of the life, they do not, after that this life, they do not take any more birth, and they then they go to the spiritual world. So the translation Prabhupada explains that one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance, means Krishna's appearance and activities, does not upon leaving the body take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. So, O Arjuna. So this is Krishna telling to Arjuna. So these are the secrets of Bhagavad Gita. So to that Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, I pray for all of us, so that by His divine mercy, He kindly allows us to study and understand the inner secrets and the most confidential parts of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And I also pray to that Supreme Lord that He allows all of us to eternally engage in the services of their lotus feet. So once again, with this, I wish you all a very, very happy Janmashtami 2020. And with this, we'll start discussing today's verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, verse number 45 of chapter number 1. So in this verse, actually Arjuna is saying he has decided that it is better to die unarmed in the battlefield. So let's read the Sanskrit. Yadimam apratikaram asastram sastrapanaye dhatrashtra ranas hanyus tanme shimataram bhaved. So the translation goes as, better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra with weapons in hand were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. So in the previous verse we see that Arjuna is saying that driven by the desire to enjoy the royal happiness, we are even ready to kill our relatives. This is verse number 44. He is saying that driven by the desire to enjoy, because of the lobha of what? Of desiring to enjoy the royal happiness, we are even ready to kill our relatives. And when we kill our relatives, then he is fearful of the sinful reactions. So in this verse he is saying it is better to die in the battlefield unarmed. Let them kill me, because how many years I am going to enjoy the kingdom? And then Prabhupada says in the purport that Arjuna is saying this because of his soft-heartedness, being a devotee of the Lord. So let's go into a little bit details of the verse. So he's saying that yadi mam apratikaram asastram sastrapanaye. So Arjuna says, oh Krishna, it would be better if I consider that the sons of Dhritarashtra to kill me unarmed and unresistant, rather than me fighting with them and killing them. He finds that option as a better option. So normally we see that the Kshatriyas, they are known by two things. First thing they are known is by the weapons they carry, and the second thing is by the zeal to fight, or the fighting spirit. So we have seen that Arjuna has already lost the fighting spirit. He has given so many arguments why he doesn't want to participate in this war. And then we also saw that Arjuna went to heaven and then he got lots of weapons, but because of this attachment that he doesn't want to fight with his relative and kill his relative, because of that attachment we saw that even his Gandiva is actually falling from his hand. So in the battlefield there are like two options. Normally when you fight a war, there are two options. One is either you kill the other person, the other warriors, or the other persons is going to kill you. So Arjuna has already said in the previous verses that I am not going to kill them. So then what is his other option? So he's saying that his other option is he is ready to get even killed by the opposite party. So that's why he's saying that Dhritarashtra Rana Hanyus. And he's saying that even if the sons of Dhritarashtra, they come with all the weapons, Sastrapana, if they come with all the weapons to kill me, then I am not going to lift the weapons. Asastram. So I am not going to lift the weapons. And apratikaram. So apratikaram means not even going to resist. Let them kill me. I am fine with that. So then he is further saying that Tanme kshema taram bhavet. Tanme kshema taram bhavet means this is the only option which is better for me. So instead of me killing the others and then incurring sin and then going to hell for a long time, it is better that let them kill me. Let them come with all their shastra and let them kill me. I am not going to do apratikaram means I am not going to resist. I am going to let them kill me. So this is the best option for me. So this is what Arjuna is making a decision over here. And it's a very sad situation for Arjuna with what all he is going through. The emotions of lamentation has brought Arjuna to this kind of situation. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada has to say in the purport. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada first brings up the point that for the Kshatriyas there is a rules of engagement. So when the battle happens, before the war, there are rules of engagement. There are rules which needs to be followed if somebody wants to fight those battles. So those rules were already established. It's not like, without the rules they are just randomly fighting, right? So Prabhupada says that it is the custom according to Kshatriya fighting principles that an unarmed and an unwilling foe should not be attacked, right? So nowadays, we see that in the name of jihad or in the name of holy war, there is terrorism. So terrorism is actually opposite to holy war, because in holy war, like this, what is going to happen is a holy war. So the other party has to be equipped, they have to be alert, they have to be equal, and they have to be ready to fight. Then only the fighting happens. But in terrorism, it is ghastly. It is ghastly. Like, they don't consider whether it is equal or equipped or alert. They randomly kill anybody. So here Arjuna is saying that even if they attack me or they act like a terrorist, so I'm going to give up my weapons and let them attack me. So this is what is the first point that is discussed. And the next point Prabhupada says is Arjuna's decision. So Arjuna, however, decided that even if he attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He did not consider how much other party was bent upon fighting. So he didn't want to fight, but the other party was ready to fight. And therefore, all wrong reasons they were ready to fight, And then Prabhupada says in the last point that why Arjuna is showing such symptoms. So all these symptoms are due to soft-heartedness resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord. So Prabhupada attributes to this whatever conditioning Arjuna is showing to Arjuna being a devotee of the Lord. And devotee of the Lord always have good characteristics. When one of the good characteristics or divine characteristics is soft-heartedness. So Arjuna is manifesting this, whatever he is manifesting, the lamentation, and he doesn't want to fight, and even other warriors can kill him and he will not resist. So all this Prabhupada is saying is due to his soft-heartedness, right? And that is because he is a devotee of the Lord. So this is the last verse which is spoken by Arjuna in chapter number 1. And the next verse is actually the last verse of chapter number 1, but that is actually spoken by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. So we'll stop here and we'll continue our discussion in the next verse. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.